Hello, welcome back to Yoga with Jeff. Today's pose, or the next pose, is going to be our Janu Sirsasana. Now, there's three variations of this: Janu Sirsasana A, B, C. This is head of the knee pose, not head to knee pose. So, like the other seated positions, if you still have that little arch to your back, or you're not comfortable sitting up in Dandasana or your seated staff pose, then we can take our block and we can raise ourselves up and sit our bottom right on top of the block. And this would be okay to start. Wherever you want to start, that's fine. I'm just going to show it from regular seated position. So in our Dandasana, we want to internally rotate the legs. We want to sit up tall. Dandasana is our seated staff pose. So from our seated staff pose, we're going to go to Janu A. So we're going to bend this right knee up, first closing the knee joint, and then we'll allow this leg to go out to the side. We're going to take the whole left leg back to the hip, and we're going to shift it backwards so my belly button is almost in line with the knee here. If your knee is way up in the air, get a block, pillows, another block, and just press your knee down into something. So if it's not down onto the floor, we want the knee to be able to press. What that's going to do is this right heel is going to be able to press into the left thigh. That's going to help press this knee down. Now with this heel pressing against the inside of the thigh and the knee pressing down towards the floor, I want my belly button right here to come in line with that knee. So maybe shift the hip back, find your position here. It may help you to add a little twist. So take the right hand outside of the left thigh, left hand behind you, and we press down with the left hand so that we can lengthen the upper body or torso. And then maybe we add a little twist looking over the left shoulder. And then when you're comfortable, inhales lengthen, exhales, we can slide this hand down the outside of the leg and maybe reach the outside edge of the foot, maybe just the inside of the thigh or outside of the thigh or the calf, that would be okay. Wherever you get to is fine. And then maybe we can bring this left arm around to crisscross the grip. Bend the elbows. Belly is going to touch the thigh, then the lower ribs to the knee, and then maybe chin to shin. If that happens, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. And we breathe. If you're more comfortable, flip your grip over, palms up, or grab the outside edge of the foot. Again, resist that urge to pull. We don't want to fight the hamstrings. We want the belly to lengthen on the inhales, exhales to soften. And we breathe here. Every inhale lengthening, every exhale softening, gazing at that big toe until the chin lands down onto the shin. And we breathe. Shoulders are down and back. And that right heel still pressing against the inside of the thigh, and the knees pressing towards the floor. After your 5 breaths here, we'll gently release what we're holding. Inhale, maybe walk ourselves back up to seated. Assist the right knee to come up to center. Straighten it out. Bounce the knees if you need to. If you're up on a block, be careful not to bounce your knees. I don't want you to hyperextend your knees. So wherever you are is fine. We're happy. Other side. Bend the left knee up. Close the knee joint. Take it out to the side. Heel pressing against the inside of the thigh. Right leg's inwardly rotated slightly. Knee is pressing down into something. Maybe we use our block. You're welcome to add the twist if you like. Or we can just inhale to lengthen and bring the arms up. Exhale, belly, lower ribs, chin to maybe to shin, or we're happy with where we are. Inhales, lengthen. Exhales, soften the belly. You never have to touch your toes. And we breathe. Inhales, lengthening. Exhales, softening, gazing at our drishti, our focal point. And we take 5 breaths here. Left heel pressing against the inside of the thigh, left knee pressing down into the floor. After your 5 breaths, we gently release anything we're holding. Inhale to walk ourselves right back up to seated. Assist the knee to come up to center. Straighten it out. Not on the block, but maybe bounce your knees if your bottom is on the floor. So that's Janu Sirsasana A. Janu Sirsasana B, we're going to change a little bit. So I'm going to turn to face you here. So with Janu B, We're still going to bend the right knee up, close the knee joint. We're going to take that knee out to the side, heel pressing against the inside of the thigh. Knee is pressing down towards the floor. Now, this is the same thing we just did, Janu A, just a different angle for you. You can add that twist if you like. For B, the only difference is, and maybe, we don't want any torque on the knee. So if this bothers your knee, your ankle, or it hurts, just do another A or skip it altogether. Again, we're not going to hurt ourselves and get into a yoga pose. So here, Janu Sirsasana B, I'm going to bring my hands next to my hips. I want to bring the right sit bone towards that right heel. So I'm going to press down to raise my hips, shift my heel as close back to that right sit bone as I can, and then I'm going to give a little twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, belly towards the thigh, lower ribs towards the knee. Maybe your chin finds the shin. Maybe we're just up here. Wherever you are is fine. But inhales, lengthen. Exhales, soften. Resist the urge to grab and pull. There should be no pain behind the knee or in the bottom at your hamstring attachment points. Each exhale softens. Wherever you get to, we'll stay for 5 breaths. Shoulders down and back, belly long. And then we slowly walk ourselves back up to seated. Bring your hands to your hips, gently, your hands to the floor outside the hips, press down. Bring that heel back out to front like we started with Janu A. Bend the knee up, extend the leg. Again, if you're on the floor, maybe bounce your knees. If you're up on a block, resist that so you don't hyperextend your knee and pop the knee down. Just as much fun on the other side. Bend the left knee up, close the knee joint, take it out to the side. Bring your hands next to your hips. Bring the heel right up onto that left sit bone if it'll go. You can point the toes if you like, but be mindful that there's no pain in that ankle or a torque on the knee. On maybe a little twist towards the right here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, belly, lower ribs, then chin to shin. Hands can comfortably come here, but resist that urge to pull. Soften. Just like the other side, 5 breaths here. Maybe palms are up, shoulders down and back. Maybe we have the big toe, elbows and wrists out to the side. Releasing. Inhale to come all the way up. Hands next to your hips, bring the bottom off of the heel and back to the floor. Help the knee come up, straighten it out, bounce your knees. Janu Sirsasana C. This is a lot of fun. So you want to be mindful here, and it's okay if you can't get into this pose. This one can be a little bit much on the little pinky toes, so we want to be mindful not to hurt ourselves. So to get into this, we're going to bend the right knee up, close the knee joint just like we did for the others. We're going to take our hand underneath of the calf, wrap the arm around, find that big toe. So the big toe mound. Once we have that big toe mound, we want to really pull back gently. Again, no pain in the knee or anywhere else. We want to try to get this big toe mound all the way down to the mat, the heel pressing firmly against the inside of the thigh. So we're going to pull this hip back. If you don't have the flexibility in your hip, don't force it. It's okay. Pinky toe down, big toe mound planted. Now my hands are going to come to my hips, and I'm going to shift my hips forward so that my heel can press firmly against the inside of that thigh. And then maybe the knee comes back down to the floor, and I can give my little twist, belly to the thigh. If we start to get here and the knee's way up in the air, we're uncomfortable, you can use your friend to block. Raise yourself up and pull that heel in. Big toe mound down, pinky toe a little uncomfortable, a lot of stress, especially if you're not on a block. Heel is pressing against the inside of the thigh. Mindful not to collapse into that knee or push it down all the way to the floor if you're up on a block. If you're on the bottom, then you can engage that leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Maybe we go a little further, maybe we don't go as far. That's okay. Gazing at that big toe. 5 breaths, slow, steady, and controlled. And when you're ready, we'll release. Inhale to walk ourselves right back up to seated. To come out, carefully shift the hips back so that you can take the pressure off the toes. Slide that foot flat, bring the knee up. Maybe take yourself off the block if you're on the block. This side I'll show without the block. Again, Bend the knee, close the knee joint. Allow the knee to drop a little bit. Left arm underneath of the calf. Pull the knee back. Wrap the fingers around the big toe. Pull the hip back or the knee back so that we can get the toes to the floor. Now the pinky toe has a lot of pressure here, so I want to press my hands next to my hips, press down, shift my hips forward, press the heel against the inside of the thigh, bring the knee towards the floor. Again, a lot of pressure on the little toe, so you want to press the heel against the inside of the thigh to take some of that off, or sit on your front of the block. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften, coming forward. Maybe grab the outside edge of the foot. Maybe we stay up here. Maybe we go back to A or B. That's okay. And we breathe 5 breaths. Each exhale softening, each inhale lengthening the belly. After your 5 breaths, we're going to gently release. Inhale to walk ourselves back up. Grab and release the pressure on that toe. Shift the knee back up to close the hip and then straighten out the leg. Bounce your knees here if you're not on a block. And that's Janu Sirsasana A, B, C. Thank you.